Okay. Before I was interrupted by a phone call where no one answered when I answered it, and I called them back. So this video will probably be interrupted as well. So when I'm making my own films, I'm the star. I'm either going to be a biracial character, I'm going to be a multicultural character. The problem is that I haven't been able to find people to play my parents because no one wants to work for free. And the problem with independent films is they don't really make a lot of money, and if you don't put a good movie together, no one wants to see it. Which goes back to my webisodes of Guardians of the Earth, and whoever has that in Alabama, again, 512 Rougemont, Charlottesville, Virginia, just mail me the damn thing. I'm not going to press charges. I just want the hard drive back. You can keep the fucking computer because it has a picture of my ex-fiance on it, so I don't really need that. There's nothing on there like socially incriminating me or anything for any crimes, but I'd much rather have that hard drive than the computer because at least with the hard drive, I don't have to start from scratch. Alright? You understand? Everything was put perfectly in place, and my hair was shorter and everything, and I would like to have it back. That being said, because that's no longer here or there for this video, there are parameters when it comes to making an independent film. First, you gotta have a good story. And if you're not a good story, at least a story. So all my stories that I have written, and I have at least 1,000 stories, maybe less, maybe more, I don't really know. All my characters are mixed. My characters are either going to be half Native American and black, or half Chinese and black. Alright? Because I'm Native American and black. I'm also white, but I'm not really ever going to pass for a white person, and I don't have enough makeup to make that shit happen. So, and if that has offended anybody, I'm sorry. Because a person like me who's mixed does not have the right to be a racist, but if I can't be honest, and I have to be honest, then you don't fucking deserve it. Anyway, the problem with making independent films versus making a real budget film is that I don't have a budget. So, $20, 3 weekends. I can feed my actors. I can't pay them. Which is why I asked, what's your schedule? What's it looking like? Can you do this weekend, and this weekend? And if they say yes, it's gonna happen. The problem is scheduling. The problem is people showing up or not being on time and not being able to get there to the location in which we're filming. Those are really the only problems I have. I don't have a studio. If I had enough money to have a studio, this channel wouldn't even exist because everything I would be like streaming or whatever, I would record while we're making the movies. So everybody knows what we're working on at that time. Which is why they have Twitter and Instagram. I'm still waiting for that phone to ring. That's why I keep looking over there. And plus, it needs to charge. The problem with that is that, when you're making an independent film, you have to have the resources to do it. I got one role from some guys that were making an independent film, and because they got the fighting, and because I was small enough to do Rey Mysterio 619, I practiced that thing for like 2 months and didn't even realize that we weren't going to make a movie. And then by the time they told me, production had been like totally trashed and they just like 86'd it. And I was like, well, you had my phone number. Why didn't you call me while I'm working on the 619? Yeah, it's like I was doing it through rails and shit. One thing about being small, you can fit anywhere. So I would do the 619 whenever I seen like 2 rails. I'd go grab that shit, 619 that fucker. And that's what they wanted. They wanted somebody who could do the 619. So that I could swing through and pull some Jackie Chan, Rey Mysterio shit. Because I was not the good guy, but I wasn't the bad guy. And I was ready to do it. And I practiced it, and they said I probably would have maybe 1 or 2 lines, and we'll worry about that when we start filming. Okay. That didn't happen. So, when I started making my own stuff, we improv. I write the scripts, and we improv. Because sometimes what you see on paper doesn't always translate onto the screen. So when I get people to be in there, I would like, all right, look, this is what I want. This is how we're going to do it. What do you think you should say? It's like, well, what do you have written down? So I bring the copy of the script. This is the scene. This is what you need to say. They'll read it, and they'll run the lines before we film, and they'll be like, I'm not really comfortable with that. Let me do this. And they'll do that. And then I was like, all right, then do that. Because sometimes improvisation works better than scripted stuff. The problem is, when people don't show up to film. Alright? That happens to be a problem. I'm gonna have to make a third video because somebody's interrupting me yet again.